All right, welcome back to the channel. So it is fight day, not just week. It is fight day. Errol Spence Jr. is fighting Danny Garcia for the IBF and the WBA welterweight championship of the world tonight in Arlington, Texas. And I am going to give you my prediction and also some predictions of some other experts that agree with me in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So it is time to go. What do you think is going to happen tonight in the fight? And I think that I have a good idea what's going to happen. Part of it is just a little bit of it is hope. And another part of it is, yeah, I'm looking at how these guys fight, looking at the totality of the situation. And I think that there's a good chance that what I hope will happen will actually happen, because I'm not going to lie here or deny it at all. I am rooting for Errol Spence Jr. to win this fight. I'm an Errol Spence Jr. fan. I like his family. I like him. I live in the state of Texas. So, tonight I am going to be a fan. And when I'm breaking this fight down, though, and like I'm going to do and tell you who I think is going to win and how it's going to go down, yes, there's a bit of it that hopes that I'm right. But for the where a little bit of it is the hope that this is how it's going to turn out. But also, I do believe, if you look at it objectively, that, that this is the most reasonable outcome. And the most reasonable outcome for me to expect is that Danny Garcia is going to get stopped somewhere before the 10th round. And the reason why I think he's going to get stopped off an accumulation of punches. I think it is going to be a scenario where maybe his eye is swollen up, or, he's just getting outboxed, and Errol is slowly but surely starting to push the pace and starts to break Danny Garcia down. And when Errol starts getting on, starts running downhill, I think that may very well be a time to stop it at around 10 rounds. Now, why do I believe that? Like the day before yesterday, I would have said, yeah, I think it might go the distance. I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I'm not 100% sure now, obviously, but when I saw Errol Spence Jr. at the weigh-in, well, number one, I spoke with somebody on Errol Spence Jr.'s team. And let me tell you, they were extremely, extremely excited about the fight. And they said something where they said, Errol's not going to make the same mistake that he made in the Sean Porter fight, which is fighting Sean Porter's fight, right? Which means that Errol, I'm believing that what they're going to do is that they're going to come out and box Danny Garcia and just show Danny Garcia that, there ain't going to be no lucky left hook. There's not going to be some blind left hook that's going to land on him, because Errol's just going to outbox you. Is just going to outbox you and punish you, slowly but steadily over the course of the fight. And the way that Danny Garcia fights, which is, he's a counter puncher, right? So Errol throws a shot, Danny Garcia is looking to counter that shot. Well, if Errol is longer, has a longer range, he has a faster hands, he's the better athlete. If he is sticking that jab, to the body and following it with a left up top, and he's out before Danny can counter, you can just see how Errol would push the pace on this dude throughout 12 rounds. Now, one of the reasons why I'm thinking that, he's going to be able to push the pace like this is that weigh-in. That is the first time that I've seen Errol Spence Jr. in a weigh-in in a while where I didn't think Errol looked drained. Like, he looked like, now maybe it's the light, because, he was out in the light with Kell Brook, and you could kind of see, but he looked really emaciated. In this particular fight, he doesn't look emaciated. His muscles look solid. He didn't look drained. He didn't look like, and I'm sure when it all comes, when the water and the food gets back in the system, that, he will put on a good amount of size, but he just did not look as drained, and it didn't seem as it was as hard to make weight. So, and the fact that he doesn't have a rehydration clause and he's in shape, I think you're going to see a very, very strong Errol Spence Jr. coming into the ring. As far as the car accident and what effect the car accident will have, the only thing that I think is going to keep my prediction from being true is if Errol is really still hurt from a car accident. But I just don't believe it, because I listened to Derek James, and Derek James was talking about the guys that he was sparring. And I've been in the sparring. I've watched Errol Spence Jr. spar before. Errol, the guy that Derek James is talking about fighting Errol and hitting Errol, that guy is big, okay? And I saw him hit Errol with something that was bananas in the training camp for Sean Porter. I mean, big shot landed on him because, I can tell it, now Errol felt like he had something like a little tweak in his shoulder or something like that. And so he just started just throwing jabs. And when this dude noticed that Errol was just throwing jabs, man, he came with just this straight right hand, was boom. I was like, Lord. And, I think Derek's eyes kind of opened up a little bit, and Errol, just shook it off, boom, went back to fighting, right? But that's the type of contact that I've seen him take from his sparring partners. So when Derek is saying he's taking shots from these sparring partners, these guys, look, I'm believing, okay, I don't believe Danny Garcia hits harder than that guy that I saw in that gym just because of the sheer size of the guy. Significantly bigger than Errol, significantly bigger than Danny. So I believe that he'll be ready to take those shots. Also, I can be wrong, and I didn't ask anybody this, but it just doesn't make sense that Errol would not have been tested with some real shots, before they let him do this. They're not just going to be like, whoa, we don't know what's going to happen if that left hook lands because, Errol maybe not be able to take it. If that was the case, more than likely they would not have I don't believe that they would have made the fight, or they would have pushed the fight back a little bit. I'm not with what Angel Garcia said that his Errol's camp is pushing them out there like that, because they made a ton of money, like a ton of money just a year ago. So that ain't like that crew is starving and really got to push it. I don't believe that they would have him in there. So if the fact is that the guy's health is all the way there, which I do believe it is, then you're looking at a fight. You're just looking at the fight taking place. Now, what guys like Joe Goosen or Dan Goosen said, Joe Goosen said, and Sean Porter has said this. I've heard several other people talk about this with comparing Errol to Danny. They're like, Errol's just a better athlete. Just all around, he's just a better athlete. Like because it's not just what the skills that they teach him in the ring that is the advantage for Errol. Errol is not just he's bigger, more than likely he's stronger, and he is faster, and he is longer, he is quicker in and out, right? You saw how he was fighting Mikey Garcia, who, I wouldn't, I know Danny hits harder than Mikey Garcia, but Mikey Garcia, I think he's a better like 1-2 puncher, right? But Errol just was way too fast for him. Just stayed on the outside, popped him, got in and out. Whenever he thought he wanted to do something, Errol was gone. And he did that over and over and over again. Danny Garcia, I think you'll see the same thing. Just get up way up on the scorecards. When Danny Garcia starts trying to press forward, Errol Spence is going to try to, at times, meet him in the middle. But I see over time, Danny Garcia getting worn down, and somewhere around the 10th round, somewhere before the 10th round, Errol's either Angel whipping that towel around or the ref being like, nah, there's no need for this. Because if Errol really starts wearing on him, more than likely they're going to stop that fight. And the body attack and all of that is what would probably get that done. Now, Danny is excellent fighter, no doubt about it. But when I'm listening to Danny and I'm watching Angel, I hear what they're saying, but it just really doesn't seem like. They keep talking about how he's overcome in the past, and I do believe that is a big thing, that he's overcome and he's beaten the guys like Amir Khan, who they thought, was going to beat him, beat Lucas Matisse, right? But Errol Spence ain't Amir Khan, and he dang sure ain't nobody's Lucas Matisse, right? So I don't see Danny being in a really tough fight, and all of a sudden that left hook bombing off and Errol walking around the ring. I think Errol is going to make sure that shot particularly does not land, take that away, and just wear his guy out, right? And eventually he's going to stop him. But that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.